forgot to do the transition to swap us around. Hi everyone, how you doing?
Hello. Noah doesn't know how buttons work.
I know how certain buttons work though.
Really? And what buttons would those be?
I can't talk about it. No, I don't like belly buttons. They're too internal.
What if it's an outie? They're not internal. Now you've got to think, you see. And straight away, right at the start of the thing, I've done something which you didn't expect. Hello, everybody. How are we all this fine evening? Hello, Jenny. Fancy seeing you here. How was your dinosaur costume?
I love that video, by the way.
Hey, Ben as well, and everybody else who is here.
How are you all doing on this fine day?
I am not inebriated just yet.
Yet being the main word.
But I've nearly finished my wine, and now I have other stuff to drink afterwards, so...
I have... Obviously, I hope everyone can hear Ven. Okay, let me know. I'll turn him up if I need to. We should be the same levels, so let me know if he's a bit too quiet. I can shove him up louder.
I mean, we're never the same level. There's another book murderer tag just got up as well.
Ooh, I'll have to have a look. Hey, Jenny, how you doing, hon? You all right?
Book buds.
He's a bit quiet. Okay, you're going to see...
Hang on.
Oh, wait, sorry, wait.
How about now?
Keep talking for us. I'll turn you up on my... Say something again.
Say something again.
Perfect. You should be the same level then, I think, now.
Perfect. We should be the same level, I think, now.
Stop copying me, you child.
I'm not sorry.
Sweet, I'm glad it's good.
Okay.
First of all,
hey,
I
Jenny.
wish I had...
Jenny.
Yeah, I wish I had... I call her JJ. JJ. I wish I had Dr. Pepper and I wish I had M&M's.
You're not allowed either of those things.
I'm not allowed it. I've actually
You're diabetic and lactose intolerant. You cannot eat that stuff anymore. You need to eat crackers. Dry crackers.
Listen,
with
right.
on it.
I just have like breadsticks just to like nibble on, right?
Not when peanuts there.
No, I've got pictures of Peanut fucking eating them all, little bitch.
Gotta love kitty cats.
Yeah.
Gotta love kitty cats.
Intolerance means nothing.
It'd mean nothing if he took his Lactaid, but you know, he just won't go and buy them or get them prescribed. Anyway, you wanted to talk to me on here. You weren't raised very high. You haven't got the yellow pages anymore. Behave.
No, I don't. Listen, right. How's that read what your own challenge going?
Fine. I've read one book. Okay.
How's that book fan going?
Okay.
Book fan going.
I will, because I'm an idiot. Just before the challenge started, I went to order the rest of the Blackwater books. Which was books 1 to 6. Now, book 6 is a pre-order. And somehow, I don't know how, I managed to buy 2 copies of book 4. So, rather than refund it, I'm throwing book 4 at Noah, and my intention was to buy book 6 so I could read them all together. So I have pre-ordered book 6.
I'm taking it.
So, I did say pre-orders did count though, so technically.
No, when you have to re-buy one again.
I mean, you're getting a free book out of it.
I mean, I'm grateful. Also,
I mean, you have to buy books 2 and 3 as well.
Which I will do, but I'm not in a book buying bad. Well, technically I am because I need to be careful with my money at the moment.
Yes. But it's fine. You can just fill in the blanks between. You just guess what happens.
No, I need to read them. You pleb.
Do you know what it was? I found out we get discount of Waterstones through work, right? And I was having, I don't know what it was with the Waterstones website, but it was having issue. It wouldn't load up all the vouchers I was putting in at a time that gave me the discount. So I was having to back out and then go back in and add stuff and take stuff off. And I just got myself that fucking muddled. I didn't realise until it'd all been posted. And it's like, oh, shit. So, yeah. So that is the only thing that I have bought, which I think is good because everything else is 99p. And I can justify that one simply because it was my own. No, it was my own fuck up. I would have bought it. I would have bought it on the 4th. So
it still failed. Also, Ben, what do you mean you learned that long time ago?
Because you don't listen. Anyone can answer that. Or you forget when you do listen. It's one of 2 things. No. But we're not here to dunk on you.
No, clearly not.
because you are currently an invalid. So
I really
will try and
am.
be nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
yes.
Have you written any books lately?
No, I don't write in books.
Oh.
You know this. I don't destroy. I don't generally deliberately destroy books. Although I did send you a picture of the spine.
Yeah, go show everyone the spine. I'll make your picture bigger so they can see it as well. Go on.
You know, like when I decided to put my books in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Stupid idea. Right, I need to make sure I have to get this on camera. Hang on. So I don't know how clear it looks.
I'll make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Bring it to the side where the more damage is a bit. Oof.
Yeah, now
devastating.
I would like to add that what I do not do with books is all the way back. So I never opened it more than I never opened it more than that.
Okay.
And it's just right down the middle where the central glue, I suppose, would be. It's just gone. Fuck it. Don't want to work anymore. That is the only book I've got like that.
Sacrilege.
You said that. But no, I haven't. I've gone for a more chaotic way of remembering where I am in books.
What do you mean?
I'm just remembering instead.
No.
I'm remembering my page number now. I'm going for chaotic neutral.
No,
I mean, I could tear the pages.
No, you have bookmarks. Use the bookmark.
I have about 40 next to me. But they're not next to my bed where I normally read.
Fair.
So, and I'm reading a Kindle book at the moment anyway. So, I was very tempted to on stream just to see Noah's reaction.
JJ.
But I don't want to actually kill him.
I put it.
I might do it with one of his books when he lends me one next, though.
I've written in.
Is this I'm sorry, what? Is this I've not watched your review yet. Is this Thirst by any chance?
I'm gonna put it in one of the book nooks around somewhere. Just
what we should do
it.
Is that thing that the cursed book train that I saw Greg over at Ginger Bibliophile and Baddies Rad was talking about it as well, where literally you all sign up for this and one person sends the book on, it just ends up eventually it just disappears into the ether.
Do you all sign it as well? Like
you
just
don't
like
have to.
I think we should sign it. I think we should do that.
No, nothing wrong with I mean there's audiobooks as well.
That's true.
Is audiobooks reading? This was a question that somebody put on a video that Kevin Towell reads.
It's an audio version of a book, so I would say that I would class that as reading because it's still a story that's being told to you.
So the argument
it's originally in book form and then it's being read to you. It's still reading in my eyes, just the listening version. It's for blind people.
That is actually probably the best argument you could have made there on a side point. It is a different skill though. Like physically reading a book and listening to the book are two very different skills. Because you don't like audiobooks particularly, do you?
It depends.
Noah doesn't listen either.
No, I'm deaf.
And when he can hear you, he doesn't listen.
That's true. Selective hearing at the same time.
Yes. Very selective hearing.
Very.
Isn't that right, Jenny? Let's just cause some controversy. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, other Jenny.
You're JJ. We've gone through this.
Oh, yes. Hello, Elaine.
Hey, Elaine. How you doing?
Yeah, I nearly did snap the spine on stream. I was tempted to, but I can't bring myself to do it on purpose. I just can't.
Thank you.
I will still dog ear books occasionally.
No. You keep talking. No, it's not slick. I'm hard of hearing.
What he means by hard of hearing is hard of thinking. That was... Okay, I thought you were running off again like you did before. Okay.
No.
So, Noah's written in a book. Noah has written in a book. Judge Noah, the person who lamented everyone for the last 6 to 8 weeks.
It's a joke.
It's not the crab joke.
No, it's me. Do you know what I put in it? From one reader to another. No, he doesn't. He's not a good one. I've written in the book. From one reader to another, enjoy, or at least more than I did.
Yeah, is it 2 stars you gave it?
And I was being
I like the
generous.
fact, because when we were talking about it, I mentioned that Bad had read it, which she didn't realise.
This
And
book,
Bad didn't like it either.
oh,
Yeah,
it was
she didn't like it
fucking
either.
awful. This book is basically just toxic friendship, and then it evolves into toxic friendship with bloodthirst. Right.
I mean,
And then it was like, oh, you're a vampire? We have instant love.
I mean, that is how it works a lot of the time, to be
Hi,
fair.
everyone. Writing, I agree, writing a book is sacrilege. It's the first time I've ever done it, but this book deserved it. Waste.
Was it worse than It's Me, Charlie?
No.
Because you didn't write in that.
No, I binned that. I ripped it and binned it.
I thought you were going to actually
I binned
burn it on...
I was originally going to burn that book. I didn't know where to set the fire, so...
Bless you. Oh, no, don't knock the wine over. That's a bad idea. But, yeah, Noah has summoned me here today, partially because I've been a bit stroppy at him.
Understandable.
Because his logic was, Ven'll just come on this anyway. I never actually thought to actually ask. Until I said, you're not asking me on it then.
And I was like, I thought you'd just do it. He was like, yeah, but you should ask still.
It's called consent.
I'm good at consent.
Apparently not.
Ben! You're so mean.
So yeah, Noah has finally invited me on. We only arranged this yesterday, so I don't know what he's got to ask.
I didn't rip a book. I was joking about that.
He licked it, though. I enjoyed it.
Oh. No, I'm good, thank you.
I mean, you've got like the chocolate saliva in the jar, in the cup. Probably a bad idea after earlier me saying that, actually.
Mm-mm.
It is,
I know, JJ.
It is the key to a healthy relationship, which is I don't have any. So, but yeah.
Hey, I'm a lovely person and a delicate flower. What? We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Ben and his book issues.
I don't have book issues. I have book opportunities.
That the book buying ban has already failed, so that's one of them.
Okay, so for the people who've just joined, I need to say this now. I ordered the wrong book by mistake.
So I ordered. You still have to read the others, so you could have waited.
No, because I want them. They're so pretty.
They are very pretty.
Like, hang on, I've actually got them. Because I've stupidly put the things in. So it's like you've got book one, which shiny.
Yeah.
And then they're also. Do you know what's really weird though? The spines are upside down.
What?
The spines are upside down on them all. So, well, actually, no. You go find yours and look at it. And I'm just going to keep.
Who's it by again?
Malcolm McDowell. Michael McDowell.
I don't know if I put it in the M's or the...
Well, probably the M's, I would assume, because it's not spelled MC, it's spelled MAC. No, it is spelled MC, actually. Ignore me. It's the only... I was going to say it's the only gold colour, but you can't see colours. Yeah, I ordered book 4 twice.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is upside down.
Yeah. So I ordered book 4 twice by accident. I meant to order books 1 through 6. Book 6 would have been a pre-order. So Noah is receiving my accidental purchase, so he really shouldn't be saying anything if he wants to live. And then I have pre-ordered the next book, which is out next week, actually. So, and then we can all buddy read book 1 together, and then me and Elaine can just read the rest of it, because I'll have all of them by them.
What?
You read slower than me. That's not a bad thing. I'm just insane. But you've done better this year. You've done better this year than last year.
I have by like 20 books.
Yeah. Which is, means you've read 21 this year.
No, I've read 45 this year.
That's being sarcastic.
Oh. I don't get sarcasm. It goes over my head.
Well, so does everything else.
I hate how fast you were on that.
You're welcome.
That's so mean.
You're welcome, but no, we're not here to bully you. So, so come on, interview.
Okay. So the one author that you always talk about that the series that you try to get people to read is whatever it's called, who did The Witches and whatnot.
Oh, Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was
the late great Terry Pratchett?
Yes, the great late Terry Pratchett. So my question is out of all the books that you've read of them, what is it that drew you into his books? Which I know you're into world building and stuff like that, but like, what was it that really like stuck in for you?
So the Discworld book. It's only the Discworld books that I've read by Pratchett. I just need to specify that I've not read.
Okay.
I've not read like his collaborations and stuff like that. Although I do have some of them. Probably not going to read Good Omens though with all the news this year. So I was bought these books by my grandmother. There was like, when you and I'm not saying this in a derogatory term, but when you get women's magazines, like Woman's Own and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You used to back in the day, back in the 90s when you were like 3, because I'm older than you. You used to have like pages where you could send off for porcelain dolls or books or whatever.
I remember them.
Stuff.
Yeah, I remember them.
And one of them, it was one day was just books. I was just beginning to get into reading a little bit, and should have been a sign of things to come. I cover bought 5 books. I convinced my gran to buy me 5 books. And the very last one I picked was The Hogfather by Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
It was also the first one that I read, even though it's one I was least interested in. And even though it's a fantasy, it's a parody of so many things in real life. But the problem you have quite often with parodies is that they can feel quite mean-spirited. So when you read them, it's like, well, you're just trying to point score, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Pratchett never feels ill-spirited, even when he's throwing judgment at like far-right idiots or Trump supporters, as we'd call them now. Political comment for the day, or anything like that. It's always a clear, gentle parody, but not from a point of hatred. It's just a case of these people are absurd. So, like, education systems is what he pushes quite often because that's what the wizards sort of represent, higher education and the absurdity of that.
Yeah.
Or the corruption of police states, or, superstition, stuff like that. But it always feels like it's done lovingly.
Okay.
Then you have these amazing sort of characters, especially if you start reading, because even though it's like one continuous series of, I think it's 46 books, you can kind of split it up into mini-series. You don't have to... The thing is, they all work as standalones pretty much, except a couple of the later ones, which you kind of need to have read some of the earlier ones. But everyone just has so much, and it's not even character, but it's chemistry on page for the characters. So it's like I accidentally reread Witches Abroad because I picked up the wrong book. I meant to pick up Weird Sisters, which is book 1 of the... Well, technically book 2, but we don't talk about equal rights. The book Equal Rights.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a book called Equal Rights. It's Granny Weatherwax's first book, but
I was so thrown.
Yeah, the character doesn't really represent what that character is in the later books, if that makes sense. So it doesn't quite fit right. I think it was the 3rd book he released, so he was still finding his feet in the disc with his Discworld writing. And I read Witches Abroad, and I kind of forgot it existed, which is a bit insulting, really, because it was a 5-star read straight off the bat when I was reading it. And it was parodying fairy tales. It's one, actually, that I think Kat would enjoy, actually, because it is a story about stories and fairy tales.
Right.
And just the way the characters interact, and they stay relatively consistent, but over the course of several books, you see this growth and this change in most of the characters. Some you don't. Granny Weatherwax is a character that does not change. There's, I think it was in Witches Abroad, actually, and they were describing how when Granny Weatherwax wakes up, it's a mouthful to say after wine, it's like watching, it's fascinating to watch, because when people wake up, right, you go through this sort of informalized panic of, who am I, where am I, what is this, why am I hugging a traffic cone, so on and so forth. That is the literal quote from the book, by the way. Whereas Granny Weatherwax goes from asleep to awake because she has no doubt. She's so certain of who she is. There's no confusion. She's asleep to awake, straight up, gone, done. No discombobulation, and that's her character. It's like, I know who I am, and I am who I am. And it's, even though she's portrayed as, she's angry because she's had to be the good one. That's kind of thing because you find out she had a sister.
Right. Okay.
And it's like she's in which abroad she meets her sister who's been mistreated. No one knew she had a sister. Everyone, because she's so much older than everyone else.
Yeah.
And it gets to like the big confrontation at the end. It's like, I'm going to give you the leathering that Mam never gave you. Not because you deserve it, not because you've done bad, but because you left me and I had to be the good one. And it's that sort of duology you get with a lot of the characters. Commander Vimes is another good example of this, of a character who is constantly fighting their own darkness and is so aware of that. That makes it really fascinating to read sometimes, especially when they slip and fall. Granny Weatherwax never slips and falls. But like in the Guards books, which I like them slightly more, you have this character who literally falls off the bandwagon, like falls back into alcoholism. He's been a corrupt cop. And they are amazing. I mean, the thing is, I'll mention this to Kat, there's a scene in the book, and it's pulled from The Wizard of Oz with the farmhouse.
Yeah.
Because the character is using stories to enforce happy endings on people. And the whole logic is you don't give people the happy endings you think they should have. You give them what they need. That's kind of the through part of the book. You can't control what people need. What people want, you give them what they need to make their own happy ending.
I like
which
that.
Is, yeah, and but it's looking at these things and it's like you've got Little Red Riding Hood in there. You have the farmhouse falling on a witch, and then the story doesn't work. Because the witch has a reinforced willow witch's hat.
Oh yeah.
So the dwarfs come and knock at the door because they're magically compelled because they want the witch's shoes because she had bright red scarlet boots. And it's like they've got this moment of where the magic doesn't work because it's like, but the farmhouse fell, she should be dead. Yeah, Captain Carrot's great as well, although he's not as black and white as he appears. Interestingly, he just appears. He's very much a paladin character. Carrot's great, the king of Ankh-Morpork, who never is and never will be. He's also 6 foot, like 27, and Noah coloured hair, i.e. ginger. Hence his name. He was brought up by dwarfs, but he's 6'6" or something. But he thinks of himself as a dwarf.
Okay.
Dwarfs don't have gender. They do, but they all have beards. So when it comes to courtship, it's a little bit different because they just refer to each other as dwarfs. And it's like, what? So courtship is apparently quite complicated at times, as you would expect. So there's so much. And also, like, if you look into like his history, he did modding for he modded Oblivion. He was actually a mod maker on Oblivion.
I didn't know that.
Years. Yeah, he was a massive fan.
Ben.
There's so much, and I don't think there's there's some books that are better than others. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. There's not a bad book in there though, and that sparked my love of fantasy, like more than anything else, because I had that. And the other one I had, and I hate to admit this one because now I know more about the author. I wish I'd never read it. But Terry Goodkind, can't think what the name of the series was that he wrote. And I found since then that he refused to admit he wrote fantasy because fantasy was beneath him. And he also stole loads of, like, outright stole other ideas. And he had a massive issue against Robert Jordan, the Wheel of Time author, as well.
Oh, wow.
But they were like the 2 books that got me into reading properly, along with Dungeons and Dragons books, like the Legend of Drizzt books and so on, and also Star Wars Legends books, which I still maintain are amazing, and they should have never done what they did with Star Wars when Disney got it. But that's another conversation for not here.
It is, but I agree.
So yeah, a bit longer answer than what you expected.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that always puts me off is
where to start.
There's a lot of books to it, and you say that you don't really need to start anywhere because they're all their own standalone. So that just baffles me. But it's also,
thank you, Jenny,
the names of things.
What do you mean?
Like all these made up names and words, and I'm like, I won't be able to read this because I'll be like, in the land of blah, 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 blah.
There's not that many really made up. Well, thing is, like, so the main city is called Ankh-Morpork. It is so, yeah, but it's so obviously London.
Oh, really?
It's so obviously London. And it's like the wizards are obviously Oxford University. It lampoons religion spectacularly, which I always approve of. But you can see it's like this is just real world locations given a fancy twist and a different name to prevent it getting sued. So it's like you have these areas, and it's like if you've ever been to like old UK cities, probably yeah, that's exactly how you say it, pretty much. And it was two cities, Ankh and Morpork was the poor side. You can't get them on Kindle. One of them was reduced on the Kindle store to 99p.
It depends on where they're at, though.
Scotland. One of them was on the Kindle store for 99p. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was one of the Guards books. I think. I'll have a look in a bit. But sorry, that's just derailed my train of thought.
While you think of that, Ben, what is the Deltora quest books? What are they?
I have heard that name. Oh, okay, the Deltora quest. Okay, right. I misunderstood what Jenny was saying. It's completely gone. That's a very helpful answer, Ben. Thank you for that.
What kind of books are they?
Quest books.
What kind of quest books? Like fighting fantasy sort of stuff?
I presume they're going to be like Lone Wolf books, I presume.
Which is Choose Your Own Adventure book. Are they Choose Your Own Adventure books? I love Choose Your Own Adventure books.
I baffled someone the other day by using CYOA as an acronym in chat. Like, what the hell's that?
Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah.
Oh, the fantasy books. Who are they by?
I'm not looking. I'm not adding anything else to my to-buy list anytime soon.
I'm writing them down. No, they're just storybooks. Okay, well, I'll have a look.
Are they lit RPGs or are they just general fantasy? Out of curiosity. Okay. Yeah, because I'm actually reading my first literary RPG at the moment.
They're very touch and go.
I can imagine they would be. I've got another one which I started reading and I got like 3 pages in and thought, nah.
Yeah.
But this one, because it's an arc, I'm going to read it anyway. But I like the fact that the one I'm reading now, which is called, it's going to be part of a series called Boy Bands and Dragons.
Oh yeah, you've told me about this.
Yeah, and it's book 1 is our comeback tour is slaying monsters.
Love it.
So the whole conceit of this at the beginning of it, and I'm having great fun with it so far, I'm about quarter of the way through, I think now, is that there's like this band who, because of COVID, split up and they're trying to get a comeback tour going. So you've got like, you know, when you look at boy bands, they always fit into a certain stereotype quite often with the members.
Yeah.
So you've got the quiet one, you've got the handsome stud at the front with the blonde flowing hair and all that sort of nonsense. They all fit these archetypes. You have the geek or the quiet one. And then they get transported. They go to like start doing the rehearsals. They've got VR systems for rehearsals, and something goes wrong, and they get sent into this virtual reality world. But it's not virtual reality. They're actually transported into this world.
Kind of sounds awesome.
So
though.
That's as far as I've got. But then they obviously, based on their personality types, they're given their classes.
I love it.
So, and it's the fact that like the front man is they call them a fighter. They're not. They're a paladin. Fighters don't have 18 charisma in anything. Like, the geek is the wizard. Yeah, that makes sense. The dark, brooding, wants to kill everyone person is the rogue.
Understandable.
But I'm calling it now. This is a boy band. The bad guy had better be, number 1, a bard, because none of them are a bard, and had better be a rejected member from the group at the end.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. It'll be good if it is.
Yeah, if it's not, I will be really upset as a missed opportunity. Although I might then turn that into a D&D game for us at some point. I will force you all to sing.
Let's do it.
So.
Ben says, Deltora is by Emily Rodder. It follows the adventures of 3 companions as they journey across the fictitious land of Deltora. Oh my god, words. Endeavoring to recover the 7 gems stolen from the magical belt of Deltora.
Okay. That actually sounds pretty good, to be fair.
I've written it down just in case.
You wrote it down. English.
All right, okay. You know I don't English well. I've just been told. I've only been called a fake British.
There's fake Brit. There is no Eno here to correct you, so I will do it. It does sound like I do like a decent quest book. I've not read a lot of the fantasy I read now tends to be more not coming of age, but like chosen one narrative arcs, which I'm a little bit bored of, if I'm completely honest.
Fair.
But as someone who can't read, I enjoyed the first book.
That's good, Ben.
Out of curiosity, Kat, is your favourite, like me, is your favourite spell Fireball? Because I suspect it would be. Hey Elmo, you all right?
Jinx.
On a side point, Elmo, before you put your video out yesterday for the Read What You Own challenge, I've tagged you in something next week which links in quite nicely to that. So keep an eye out for that one. Self-promotion.
No, it's all good.
But can't remember what the hell I was going to say about.
I don't know where we were going with this. We've went so far off what we were going for.
We always do. It was something Discworld related.
Yeah, it was.
Remember. Still can't remember.
That's question. Fine. Age.
Experience.
Sure.
Not like that. I'm not that.
What is something you can't say Discworld books, okay? But what is something that you wish you could read and experience for the first time again? No, you can't say Discworld books.
No, I'm not going to say Discworld books because that's the easy. I'd love to, but no. I would love to read Wheel of Time again. From a fresh thing is, I have reread book one.
Yeah.
Reread book one about 4 times. But there's a lot of books. There's a lot of books there. But I remember being, and the thing is, it's such a big series. It's got a reputation for a bit of a slog.
Yeah.
In the middle. Which I never found when I was reading it. Some books are slower than others, but it's such. Have you read Game of Thrones?
I've read the first book. I then lent the others out and I never got them back.
Okay. So the thing is, like, Martin is a very good descriptive writer.
He is.
From what I've seen. But he'll leave something to the imagination. So if there's curtains, he won't tell you what they're made of, where they came from, and how many people it took to make them. Yeah. That is where the difference comes. Robert Jordan is so detail-orientated that you don't need an imagination to see the world. Because he tells you everything. You know what that curtain feels like. And he paints this entire world. And the smallest things come back. Yes, that's the yellow thing. The smallest things come back to right at the end. And, like really inconsequential things that you think is just a throwaway thing earlier on. They come back 10 books later. And are actually a really important moment that just swing in. And I would love to go through it. And actually, that is a series that if I was to ever make notes properly on a series, it'd be that. To try and see all the things that I missed on the first read through. Unfortunately, it's about 15,000 pages to read it all.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is, but do you not think it would be worth it? Like, would you not want to do that and make like a little series about it? Like, you just every now and then you'd upload a video and have it like going on with all these like things.
No, because the thing is, there's so many other books out there. Like we were talking about this because I think we were talking about book censorship a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I think you were a bit shocked at the amount of books that are released every day.
I mean, just in the UK.
Yeah, is just insane. Because we're talking about like YA versus a new term. I've started to see a new term called new adult, which I find quite interesting.
I'm sorry, what? Wait, no, pause.
Okay, so I've seen a new thing called new adult, which is specifically 16 plus. I've seen it more on sites where you can get arcs and stuff.
Right.
So it's a way of saying the readers that if you're under this age, probably not suitable. I find it interesting because that seems to be aiming at what YA used to be, because it used to be teen, which I'd say would be to about 16, and then YA would be 16 plus.
Yeah.
Whereas now YA seems to be 12 plus.
But it shouldn't be, because the things that we've read that are from the YA section.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Jenny's just said about rereading. I will quite often go back and reread a Pratchett book.
Yeah.
Because they're my comfort book. That's why I read Witches Abroad and the fact I picked the wrong book up. But that's why I read Witches Abroad, because I could feel myself slumping. And I read 12 books last month.
A lot
on
of
a
books.
slump month. That was a slump month. So I read less. I actually read less than normal in terms of page count. But yeah, it'd be Wheel of Time, or maybe.
We're thinking, look at them cogs turn.
I hate to say this out loud because of some things with the authors.
We're ignoring things with authors. We're separating whatever issues are going. With this
no, these aren't issues that are going. They were sent to prison for this. But they're child abuse. But the Belgariad and Polgara the Sorceress, which Polgara was also one of the first 5 books I bought. These are heavy fantasy books as well.
Okay, got you.
And they were really, really good. I mean, the thing is, I've read these books before Lord of the Rings, which is an easier read as well. That's the other weird thing. I didn't touch Lord of the Rings till about 15 years ago.
I've not touched them.
I know you've not. I think Jenny hasn't either.
No, I think Jenny.
No, Jenny has. Somebody, not your Jenny. Other Jenny.
JJ's reading them at the moment.
But I can't remember anything about the books now because it's been so long since I read them. Oh, in fact, no. Redemption of Athalas actually is a better example because that has a roguish main character, and I do like my dark characters a lot more.
You do. So, you do.
Yeah.
See.
But, yeah.
My thing is with what people are saying in the chat about things going on with like authors and stuff. It's like, does it show in their work? Is their work completely separate from their own opinions and other things that they've done? Yes?
I think the issue that you have is even problematic people, right? I don't really have a massive issue with them if they're really good at their craft and they make money from it. I don't actually care. The problem is when they then use that money to then victimize other people.
True.
That's why, whilst I have read the Harry Potter books, I have seen so much that she's done, especially in the last 5 or 6 years. Did you see what she put out on last week? I think it was last week.
No.
So
listen, I'm going to the Harry Potter World Experience, right? Nothing's going to stop me from going. I'm going to buy the books.
And if you like the books and you love the world, I have no issue with that.
Okay.
Because they're great.
I don't support her as an author.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want her. What I will say is, if you want to read them, pirate them.
No. I want physical books. They are my.
Or steal them.
No, we do not promote stealing here.
It's not stealing. It's wealth reappropriation from the rich.
All right.
Well, anyway. So last week, you have to be tuned into UK politics to get this. So, but the Conservative Party voted for their new leader this week. So they've got a new leader.
Yes.
She's an idiot. But J.K. Rowling, there was a bit of a barney a few months ago between David Tennant and J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, she said something. I've saw something flag up, but I don't know what she said.
So a few months ago, David Tennant accepted his TV award somewhere, basically going with like a pro-trans T-shirt and badge and stuff on.
Good man.
And was basically turned around and said about she wasn't leader at the time of the Conservative, but she was in the cabinet going, I just wish she'd go away. That's what he said at the thing. I just wish she'd shut up and go away because she was being very culture war-y.
Yeah.
And then J.K. Rowling this week went, but he's eating his words now that she's been promoted as leader of the Conservative Party. And everyone just went, how sad is this that 6 months later you're all just concerned about what David Tennant said?
It's so true. It really is.
It just amused me. Amused me so much. But yeah, I mean, I think it does depend on what the authors have done.
Yes.
Like, part of the reason I don't really talk about those books, and I've actually pulled them from videos where I would have put them, is because this is you've done something bad and been convicted of it.
Yeah, I think convicted is a whole different ball game.
It's a different thing. Do I regret reading the books? Absolutely not. They were amazing. They were long, they were hard, they were 800-page.
They were long and hard, were they?
They were. They were so fulfilling. It filled me up inside. But they although they didn't let me scream at the end, I think it was a bit of a damp ending. But anyway. bad people can do good things, and that's the thing. And
yes, absolutely, I agree with that.
And
I also think it's a shame though, because some people then lose something that they enjoyed, like when they were younger and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot with like Neil Gaiman stuff right now.
Yeah.
It's very unique to UK politics, so you probably wouldn't, because we're more interested in US news than the US is in British news, because we are quite
bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's not. If you think about it, the US is 52 times the size of the UK. Why would they care? And also,
because they're all Whovians over there.
They're not, because that's why Doctor Who's probably not going to get renewed for a third season. On Disney Plus anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's the current rumor anyway. But if you think about it, so like the US, correct me if I'm wrong here, because I could be, but my understanding of the way the US news system works is it's a lot more local than it is here. So like in the UK, you start with national news, then you go out to international news, then you come back to regional news for like 10 minutes in an hour. Whereas in the US, it's more local to where you are. And then goes stateside, then goes countryside, and then the rest of the world doesn't exist unless they've upset them for some reason. A lot of the time, it's politics of scale.
Yeah.
So, and let's be honest, nothing exciting really happens in the UK. Not really. Even when we have our biggest controversies, it's not really. What if mass shootings don't make all the news in the US? And they don't. Only like 1 in 50 make the news.
Yeah.
What chance is one person being stabbed in Southport? Which is, massive news here in the UK. But it's not going to be over there because we are small and insignificant, really, in the grand scheme of things nowadays to the US.
True. Very true. Great.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's nobody but us matters. And that comes down to, this is not going the way you expected it to. That comes down to the differences in the education system as well, because from outwards looking in, the US education system is what I call competitive and aspirational. So it's, you can be the best thing you can be, and everything's linked to, you can only do these things if you do really well. Whereas UK system is, they focus on the overall grades of everybody and pulling them up. So UK is based on community uniformity, whereas US is based on individual brilliance, and they push the brilliant and forget about everybody else. And that's somebody who hates the UK system as well, just on a side point. But we won't talk about what I would do with schools, because I've had to go and talk to schools this week.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah, thieving kids.
No. What?
That's very pink.
Again?
Oh, yeah, I actually went in and spoke to the principal.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they've been excluded, all 3 of them. I'm sorry, you're making 30 quid of stuff from my work directly under the assistant manager's nose? I don't think so. So, yeah, but that's the competitive thing, because it's not about helping people. It's about being the best, and part of the way of being the best is you push other people down. And it's an interesting thing because it's something we get so wrong, and this is where the issue around book banning comes in a little bit. Because the issue you have with book banning is that you're trying to make people feel better, because, whether you like it or not, white privilege is a thing, male privilege is a thing. They are. So the people who are most vocal about this tend to be white, and quite often male, right? Saying, don't do this, 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 this. And what they do is they push back against smaller groups. You don't empower people by making other people weaker. You empower people by lifting everybody up to the same level. That was wine. This is Tequila Rose. That's going to go down very quickly. So that's also...
I'm not really drinking anything apart from water.
No.
Sad.
It's got a weird aftertaste to it, actually. What the hell
she said.
It's tequila.
Tequila?
Tequila.
Oh, it makes me happy.
But, yeah, it's fascinating because the issue I have with the book banning thing is that there's 2 issues with it, right? The first issue is, when you think about it, books are the only form of media, and this is literally, at least in the UK, that is not age gated. I presume it's the same in the US because they have PEGI ratings in the US and stuff.
Yeah.
But even in this country, comic books have ages on them.
Mm-hmm.
Manga, which they class as a visual medium, has stuff on it. Magazines have age. Some magazines have age ratings. Books don't, and it's because of the sheer volume that are released. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got a choice of two things. You either have to age gate these things properly with a ratings board. Well, I'm sorry, that isn't going to happen. It's impossible. It can't happen. And then, so what do you do instead? You can do a self-certification thing, because this is what has started to come in through the ESRB for video games in the US, where game makers actually do self-certify themselves and then hope they don't get caught for loot boxes. Fortnite, looking at you specifically there. Although they've managed to sidestep that one because of money. So that's the other option. Or if you're putting books in the thing is, any book should be in a general library. Like, straight off, I don't care what that book is, unless it's about how to make Molotovs, which are not complicated. There's no reason for it not to be in a school, in a not school library, in a normal library, in a public library.
Is that everything's on the internet anyway, so there's no point in banning.
Well, that is the other thing. But there is an argument of suitability of books for school-age kids. Now, it's slightly different in the US because of the way school works, because it's different to here in the UK.
Icebreaker
would not be in a school, but Icebreaker is not. What Icebreaker does have a disclaimer on it.
It's in primary school.
Yeah. Because of the artwork. So
yeah, because of the artwork on the front.
Yeah, because of the artwork on the front. But if you're going to because the thing is, for books to get into schools, they have to go through a process in the US. Apparently not in the UK.
Okay, I don't know any of this. Go on.
So in the US, you have education boards and library boards and various other things. And basically, I think it's the ALA, the American Library Association, as I understand it. They vet any books going into a library based on the rules for that state or that educational district. So if the library has said this is suitable for schools, they're the professionals, you would hope. So but assuming you've put people in charge that are professionals and know what they're doing, why would you not trust it? Well, no, there is no good reason to ban 1984 in schools. I mean, in the UK, in some schools, it's required reading, right?
Well, the thing is, though, don't forget, in some places in America, the Bible and the dictionary are banned, so...
Yes. Yeah, professionals. Yeah. But bear in mind, they're not banned because of the people at the schools. They're banned because people have objected to them. It's not... Because what happens is, if it's like anything,
Dictionary?
Say you buy a foodstuff from a shop.
What Kat just said.
One of the kind of like, but maybe the test of the books. Yeah. I mean, there is that. And the thing is, I think it was Stephen King who said, if a government bans a book, it's your duty to go and read it to find out what they don't want you to know.
Yes. The thing is, though, that they've mostly rewritten a lot of history as well. So anything to do...
It's not just them.
No, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But it's also the fact that anything to do with any type of coloured person that has done well in history, or they've done stuff and they've made stuff for themselves, they've changed it to a white person. Oh, this person was bad because of the colour of their skin. And then it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah. And
bigoted.
The problem that you have, though, is if you put these people in place to vet the books to go into libraries, and they've been appointed, so somebody must think they can do their job. What is the point of them if they're then overruled constantly? If you're saying you can judge these books to go into schools, and they let these books go into schools, and then they get forced to take them out because Doris doesn't like the fact that two boys kiss, or whatever it's going to be, what is the point? So there's a dual standard going on there, and the cynical part of me, which is sadly correct, is going, this is about control, and it always is.
Oh, yeah. No, like, no doubt.
Which, again, I don't want to dig into the latest disastrous election result. But 90% of Americans, I believe, who don't have a college degree voted for Trump. That tells you everything you need to know. It's about keeping certain people in power. And we see it all around the world. People with power want to keep power. But what they do now is rather than raising other people up, they push people down to maintain their power. And over time, that is a bad thing. We know this. We've seen it. The people who should have the choice of what books the kids read is the parents. Like, my daughter was asking me to read... she wanted to read Haunting of Adeline, which she got a no. But she's 15 now. So some of these conversations will be, you can read it, but this is what's going to be in that. So
yeah, that's a good way of doing it, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
because a lot of kids don't know that. They just go get it because of TikTok.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is another thing that I find fascinating because of the US and the UK differences. Like, I'll think of a book like alcohol, right?
Okay.
So we have a drinking culture in the UK, he says, getting drunk on pink things. But we do have a drinking culture in the UK. We allow kids to drink at home from God knows what. Caelan drinks at Christmas. He'll have a glass of wine since he was 6. It's not a big deal, but it's always done in a safe environment, right? If you never touch alcohol, the minute someone says to you, do what you want now, what's the first thing you go and do? You go and give yourself liver poisoning because you've never been gently introduced to stuff because you've always been told no, 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 no. So it becomes a taboo. And it's the same thing that happens with books. It becomes a taboo read. So you seek it out. Now, with books, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's kind of a self-defeating and more destructive thing to do. Because the other thing is, because you're taking away the learning apparatus from earlier on in the life, they then can't judge those books. They can't read about these relationships, these situations that sometimes these people have gone into. Whiskey in a baby bowl. Yeah, that. A lot of people put like whiskey on like a soother or a dummy to deal with teething and stuff. Yeah. It's...
I've never heard of Blood Family by Anne Fine. Just throw that in there. Go on.
Oh, no, I've not heard of that. It's because you cannot hide things from people forever because they do grow up and people just fall across things, especially now. Like, and this is where the world is backwards because social media is so interconnected now.
Yeah,
just
a lot.
So much that they're going to see stuff that you don't want them to see. Summer watches videos that I don't want her to watch. But we have the conversation, not like that, but we have the conversation about it. And we're quite open about it because it's about talk and dialogue and trust.
Yeah.
I will give you my advice, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to say, this is what I think you should do. Be aware going in and come back and talk to me about it afterwards if things don't fit. And we have this weird thing now where, and this is where the school systems fail, is that we prepare kids now for the world we grew up in. It's not that
it's completely anymore. No, it's completely different.
And that's been true for the UK education system hasn't really changed for years.
For real, like coming out of like school and stuff is a shock to the system because no one was like warned or taught to fucking taxes and just normal everyday life. Because when you get to that point, it's like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I've learned this maths equation that no one uses anymore because we don't have calculators on us anymore. Everything's in the palm of our hand.
Yeah, and that's the catch. We prepare people for a world that doesn't exist anymore. And you can't prepare people for the future. We don't know what's going to happen.
No, but we can always still be prepared for things that we know the times are changing. We can educate ourselves. The school system is not educated anymore. It's just stuck.
How do we do that? You teach critical thinking.
Which they don't.
Should we still study Shakespeare? Probably. I don't like Shakespeare, but probably.
I think it depends on things you want to go into. I think they don't look at that anymore. It's pretty much...
But they do.
Not as much as they should.
They still do at least one Shakespeare study in the UK.
I think it depends on what they think they want to go into further in life. I think they should do more things with that.
Because you could because you're doing that, but then you do something more contemporary. And you can then link that into your history and how things have changed.
Hey, Witchy.
Hey, Richie. Yeah, I mean, thing is, you are going to read stuff, but this is the problem with books. Right, they don't come with decent enough content warnings on. True. There is an argument that they should all come with content warnings. I'm actually a big fan of that. But that's about...
It depends. I think the Bible should come with warnings.
Yeah, it absolutely should do. Warning, this is an amazing collection of fairy stories. But because that's what religious books really are. Whether you believe or not, these are literal history books.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will read stuff that you can't read, which your adversities said. I can't remember your name off the top of my head. I'm really, really sorry.
Who?
You are.
Oh, hey! I just realised the way. I'm so sorry. I missed your comment.
Yeah. But how damaging is that? Depends on how open you can talk about it. Does that make sense?
With
the people around you. For me, anyway. What did we can get content
and does the dog?
So a book I read recently did specifically mention the dog in the content warning. Specifically, that something happened to a dog off page, and you don't read about it, you just know it happened. But the dog that's in the book is okay, and nothing happens to them.
I love that.
My child is studying GCSE at the moment. I spoke to their teacher. It's an old dead white author.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
there's
the other
nothing
thing
wrong with that, but also they also need to move with the times as well. Like, absolutely love your history and stuff. Teach the right history, but also move with it. Move with the times.
There's a diversity thing, right? Because we have this dangerous thing right now where all around the world, everyone's going more insular and more nationalistic and more inward looking, not wanting people to come in from outside, stuff like that, which is bollocks. That doesn't work. You do see it. Like the anti-immigration stuff is the perfect example of that.
Ah, right. Yeah. Yes.
So that's all around the world at the moment. Now, there's a reason that's happening, and it's very complicated. But there is a reason why this is happening around the world, and it's because we don't communicate properly anymore. Systems haven't moved fast enough with technology.
Yeah.
It's because people, rather than raising up, punch down. And that's the thing that books really do an amazing job of. They raise people up because they give people access to stories that they can relate to, or experiences, or insights, and so many different things, and spark the creativity and the imagination. And, I hated reading Shakespeare at school. I hated reading Mice and Men with a passion.
Oh, I hated that too.
Yeah.
I hated that too.
I don't necessarily... I do regret reading Mice and Men.
I do too. That's one of my most hated books that I read in high school.
What more recent books do they read? They don't.
They're stuck still doing them.
And that's where I have some issues with it. At least it does vary school by school, I do need to recognise.
Yeah, but I think they should have one that they can pick from back then, and then one from now, so they can maybe do a piece on how things are different, how things have changed and stuff like that. That would be something good to do. Not just, hey, you're just going to read this and you're going to be stuck in this for 20 plus years. When you go to university, you're going to be reading the same sort of style, because that's what I did when I went to university and I did English and stuff like that. It was the same. It was Shakespeare. It was, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and it was don't get me wrong, I realise Shakespeare is really important. I realise this.
I mean, the only good thing he did was actually name the elbow.
I'll take your word for that. I have read one Shakespeare play.
I've read a few of his stuff.
I found the book, actually, which I definitely didn't steal from school. I think my ex-wife probably stole it from school. I've actually got it in a box under my bed, which was Macbeth, because that's what we did.
Yeah, no, it was Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet.
Top class did Romeo and Juliet. I was in second set. I wasn't in top set English, because I didn't do homework. But I did do the top set, the higher level exam, which pissed people off.
I remember you telling me about this. Yeah, because they weren't allowed. It's bizarre, isn't it? But the thing is, though, is I enjoyed Shakespeare, right? But I wouldn't want to force it onto people as it's forced in.
I think, and I say this with books quite a lot, once you've probably already read if you read a lot, you've read every story ever written. because the general beats of a story doesn't change. The narrative doesn't really change. What changes it is the character perspectives. It's why I talk so much about character when I talk about books.
Yeah.
It's the characters that really drive the stories. You can get the same, and again, especially here in the UK, I'll take your word for it, Witchy. I have not read it. Yeah, that is a good point, though. Give them comedies rather than tragedies.
Yes. No, but they always do tragedy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the point. They always do tragedies. They always do the depressing shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uplifting.
Ow.
What's aspirational about Romeo and Juliet when you really step down to it? When the two sort of lovebirds are both dead at the end? You know, what lesson does that tell you other than love is bad?
That's pretty much it, to be honest. Then you'll die for them.
Yeah, which, no. I am worth more than that. Thank you very much. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent.
It's an understandable tangent, though.
It is. It's the sort of tangent that I'd go off on quite regularly. I had to have an argument with somebody in work about politics yesterday. I did not agree with their... Ben.
He's
Trumpian.
What?
I told him to walk away from me before I hit him with the bake tray.
First of all, he's British. Second of all, he's friends with me. That doesn't make sense.
He also thinks reform has some great ideas.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
You don't know a person until they say something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Hey up. Anyway, that was a hell of a tangent. Talk about banned books.
Here's my tangent now.
Yeah, here we go.
Put a cat hair all over my mic. Obviously, the amount of books that are released in the UK is 500 a day, roundabout, right?
Yes.
So there's so many that we miss.
Yes.
How do we even find out, like, where, when, how?
There will be a website that isn't Goodreads.
Why isn't it more known? Because there's going to be so many amazing things that all of us have missed.
So, the short answer... Hey, Elaine.
Hey.
Is that hey back, Elaine, or are you saying to people above, actually? That could be because I've already seen you in the chat once.
So we have... Can you not stop?
We have...
Book Dust Media.
Yes.
Well, they've been doing some amazing videos, so definitely go give them a little love and a boop. I saw David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Yes, I do like them.
So, you have two issues we find out about books.
Yeah.
The first thing is we all have our book's preference.
We do.
So, I'm reading outside your preference, and I'm never going to tell people to read outside the preference. Hey, Dee Dee, all right?
Hey, Dee Dee.
If you like reading and you enjoy what you're reading, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say you should read this book because it's the best book ever written. That's not how it works.
No.
I like people to read outside their area because I think you can find stuff that you don't. So you with fantasy, me with horror.
Yeah,
because I'm not really a horror reader.
No.
Or at least I wasn't. I am a bit more now.
It depends because they're all different. It's literally finding a little niche because there's so many fucking little pockets of things.
But the thing is, you're never going to find out about all the books that are released because, number one, we can only process so much information.
Very true.
Like, even the best of us are not going to remember how many books a week? 5,000 books, not 5,000 books a week, 3,500 books a week that are released in the UK. Yeah. We're just not. And then how do you then sort them? Well, you're going to look at books that are most interesting you. So if you like romance, you're going to look at romance. If you like horror, you're going to look at horror. So you're then going to miss out on the whole spectrum.
Yes, Fourth Wing. Yeah. That's one of the things that got me into fantasy because of Ven here. And I was like, I wanted to get into it. And he was like, Fourth Wing. And I was like, no. Yeah, but it is Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing is actually, if you like, especially if you like romance, it's a good entry point because it has nearly every fancy trope in there.
Yeah.
In one way or another. They're not particularly well fleshed out, but they're done solidly.
Yeah.
Iron Flame is still a better book once you get past the first third.
Yes.
The way it comes together at the end.
I'm guessing ready to continue with that because I'm, nearly 60% through it now?
Yeah, you're about to get to where it starts going down.
Yeah, I'm excited about
that. Both
that.
Literally and figuratively, actually.
Oh.
Thinking of where you are in the book. So you're never going to. And the thing is, if you look at all the books that release, most of those are going to be indie or self-published, right? So most of those are going to be published probably through Amazon. So maybe you'll find them on Kindle Unlimited, maybe if you're lucky. But it relies on them going viral. So like a couple of the books that I've got recently through your Paper Quest book subscription, they've not even got 20
this is Peanut,
reviews
she's my
on
baby.
Goodreads.
What? They don't have decent reviews on Goodreads?
They only have like 20 reviews. Book came out like 10 years ago. One of the recent ones. I can't remember what it's called. I can't see it. I'm not going near me. Oh no, it's down there. Hang on.
While you do that, so I found Peanut when she was a kitten in a box with other kittens, and I got them all done. And no, I think. And she's she's always just. I've always just carried her around like this, and times. Yeah, this is peanut butter.
Yeah. Hang on, I've just thrown my headset away. Right, I'm just going to keep talking for a second.
It's all good.
So this was in my book box this month. So I have an indie book box that I have here in the UK. Yeah. This came out in 2012. It has 25 ratings on Goodreads.
That's it?
That's it. Average score 4.16 from 25 ratings, 13 reviews. And, it's a dystopia. It's the sort of book that probably could have taken off at the time. But if you look, there's 5 big book publishers, really worldwide. They have a monopoly. And if you look at the books that they take on, they are, generally speaking, safe.
Yeah.
Like, you're never necessarily going to be shocked by what's in a big published book.
True.
Because they want the money. And you can make money by taking risks, but they go for the safe bet. Someone did a video on it a couple of months back. I can't for the life of me. It's called Your Paper Quest. It is for the UK and the US at the moment. They've only recently launched in the US. I found them, was it back in March-ish?
March-ish, yeah.
I think April was my first box. And I got, there was a book in there called Odyssey Earth, which is a sci-fi. I'm a little bit hit and miss on sci-fi. I have since read every book bar one by the author, and I will be reading the last book very, very soon, which is the conclusion to the trilogy. About £20, I think it's £19 a month. You get 2 books. Sometimes you'll get more. A couple of bookmarks. They're recently at the Medway River Literary Festival, which is a relatively new one here in the UK. Yeah, so now they've only recently extended, so they don't do Europe yet either, which sounds like a weird thing to say.
That is pretty weird.
But not all Europe speaks English as a first language, so it makes sense. But they are looking to extend further, but they're doing it because they're quite small. It's little steps. What I like is they'll publish the books, and then like 3 or 4 weeks later, they actually do author interviews as well with the authors of the books. So you get a little bit of insight into what they've done, and they continue to promote the books of those authors as they come out further down the line. So, like most recently, Rex released Third Lock from the Sun.
I remember that.
Yeah, which I think Jenny Parks should read. I think she'll love it, being Scottish. And they'll continue to shout out on it. And one of them is actually an indie author as well, themselves, one of the 2, because it's only 2 people who do it. Do this whole
bizarre, isn't it?
At the moment, yeah. One of those is actually an indie author, so they're like balancing things. But you can't keep a list of them all. There's too many. So I recommend that you do. They're really, really good. I've not had a bad book off them yet. This month's going to be interesting because there's historical
fiction, which you're not really into, so
I'm not. Although I had already picked one up as well from elsewhere. So yeah. But
snuggle.
I think that's where YouTube, in not so much TikTok, because TikTok tends to be more the bigger books a lot of the times. So you might find something viral on there, but I think that's where YouTube is really good for finding some of these books because there's plenty of channels out there that feature indie books and talk about them quite a lot.
That's true.
And I hate to say it, I hope you enjoy it. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited.
Ooh.
Actually, I got an arc of it. Was quite lucky. So I'm just full disclosure. I got the book for free. So it was really good though. Hate to say it, but X is a good place as well. If you can find indie authors, they sort of congregate together. So you can find all these Twitter. Yeah.
Will never be
or Blue Sky. If you want to go to a less toxic place, Blue Sky as well. Which is like Twitter without Elon Musk in charge. And you can find the authors there. A lot of the books that I've picked up over the last 6 months, the many that I've picked up, I've found a lot of them through Twitter. Because I've seen authors talking, and it's me. I'll see a cover and go, yeah, I like that cover. Then I'll go and read about it.
I mean, not all the time. You have been duped twice.
What with?
For buying.
What with?
I can't remember what they're called.
There was one book.
2 books.
Which was... No, there was one.
It was
Chrysalis... 2. No, one. Chrysalis and Requiem.
What's the next one?
I don't know what the other one was, because I can only think of one. What do you like me to... Was it this year?
I think so.
Right, well, I will go and have a look at my story graph and try and find it. But I think you're wrong, because I can only think of one. And I need to reread that. Why are you on my to-read pile of Reddit?
Me?
No,
I'm always watching Mike Wazowski. Okay. Always watching.
Okay. But I think that's the best way to find indie authors is literally YouTube and Twitter.
Okay.
Find indie authors on Twitter, follow them, and then go through all the people that they follow, and you'll find them. That's how I found The Fall Is All There Is, which I really, really liked by Connor Kaplan, which was just amazing. And everyone should read it if they like dystopian, dark. Why can't I sort this into... I'm going to have to scroll through them all, okay. Don't mind me, I'm just pulling things out of my computer. I found them through Twitter, through Danny Finn, actually, ironically enough.
Oh, Danny Finn! What a ledge.
Danny, who you've not read their book yet.
I have.
Have you?
I've just not
read. Oh, you've not mentioned?
No. It was a lot of
It was a lot of spice. Was there as much as I had in mind?
I don't know.
Okay. I do have another one to read by them. I do have... It was well written, though, wasn't it?
They were well written. I just didn't expect as much as there was.
Yeah, there's just a lot of spice.
Dwarfs having...
Oh, do you know what? I think I know what you're talking about. Was it the short story collection?
It might have been.
Things We Say in the Dark by Kirsty Logan. I am in the minority with that one. I am aware of this.
Okay.
I struggle so much with short stories, though.
I find short stories difficult because with them it's very touch and go. You don't know what you're going to get, and you might like 1 out of the 20 others.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it was a very esoteric collection. Wasn't bad. There was some really creepy moments in there. It just didn't
hit the spot.
Didn't hit the spot for me personally. But I won't say it was bad. I think it was very well written. It was just very left within 2020. I can understand that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still... I mean, I'm quite lucky that when I'm on Twitter, I only really see book stuff. I said book, no. But I am on Blue Sky as well and follow them all on there anyway. So I can find it on both sites. Although I'm not looking at the moment because I can't buy any more books.
Even though you've already broken, you've bought a book.
Yeah, recommended lists can be really, really good sometimes. So, but yeah, it's a different type of writing off cows. I'll tell you who is a really good. I was going to say real. Oh no, there. So she's called Indie Book Spotlight on Twitter and Blue Sky. She's called Rebecca Crunden. Right. I'd actually like to know your opinion on one of these, actually. So I've read 2 books by them so far. The one that I really, really liked was called Someone Else's Horror Story. It's 26 pages long. That's it.
Okay.
Like 74p to buy. I don't know how they've managed to fit so much into 26 pages.
Really?
Yeah, it's outstanding. It's a really, really smart horror story. I think you'd like it.
I will.
Actually.
Yeah.
In fact, I might just buy you and send it you to after the stream.
Oh, thanks.
To cheer you up.
Thanks.
You know, I send you proper books.
I'm working on it.
But yeah, that's my thoughts. That's how you find the smaller books. You don't use the Goodreads search function because it's wank.
See, that's normally what I use, like Waterstones and stuff, and then I'll try and like YouTube or Google something.
So Google works better. The search bar for Goodreads is absolute cack. Like you can put literally. I was doing it before we came on because I was trying to find cover for one of the books that I'm going to be reading soon.
Yeah.
And I typed in the exact name.
Oh yeah, sometimes I have that, and it's like 5 different things up, and it's not the book.
Yeah, and none of them. And then it came up with more options that didn't even remotely match it. And it's like, what are you doing? Why? It wound me up. It wound me up so much. I found it eventually, but I had to go digging for it. Whereas on Storygraph, it comes up straight away if it's on there.
Fair.
That's the only catch with Storygraph.
Which he says, one of my absolute favourite short stories is Caroline's Heart by Austin Chant, who is a trans author.
Okay, we can. Now, I'm going to type in the author name.
Thank you. I can't type anything.
No.
Caroline's
Heart. Oh, it's come up quite quickly, that.
Same cat. I love short story compilations. I just read Cursed, a great theme collection.
Cursed. That rings a bell. Who is that? Across the different authors as well.
It has Aaron.
Possibly. I'll be honest. Aaron has done a number of short story collections recently, and because he's done a review for every short story, which is great. But one of the collections I actually have because it's the Garbology.
Yeah.
Which is like
yes, because I want to buy that. Yeah.
So I picked it up as a Kindle book. And it's like I don't want to watch the reviews. I want to read the books because I know MJ's done one of the books in there.
Yeah,
one of the stories in there. So yeah, I have 2 wish lists. I have a public one,
same, and a private one.
And a private one. Now, to be fair, the private one doesn't have any books on it that aren't on the public one because I don't censor my list like some people.
I don't censor my list. I don't have dirty books.
You censor your Goodreads list.
I do censor my Goodreads list. Yes, I do. Does anyone else do that?
Which, speaking of which, have you read Morning Glory Milking Farm yet? Have you not got to that yet? Because I know you're reading that this month.
Oh Lord! Jennifer Lopez, grab the wheel.
If she was in that book, she'd have grabbed something. Give me them udders.
He doesn't have udders. He's male. They're only male.
I'm being sarcastic.
Oh right.
Sarcasm.
Oops. You know I don't get sarcasm.
All right. Okay. I might. You don't get sarcasm, no.
No, I really don't.
You again.
Yeah, it's a range of authors as cursed, including some big names like Gaiman and some less well-known. Interesting.
I've literally just typed in cursed, and it's given me not that book. It's given me a book called Blood Oath.
So here's the thing: when you go looking for these book loot boxes type of things, like what is it that draws you into certain ones? Obviously, I know you're into your indie ones, and that, to be honest, they've worked so well for you, and that is like your shtick.
So the indie one is the first and only one that I've done.
There's been some other ones that you've looked up. I know you've looked the fairy box.
So I've not bought them, but I've looked at them. I'm tempted to properly break my. No, I haven't bought any of them.
I'm innocent. No, you've not bought any of the fairy loot boxes.
Yeah, I've not bought any of the loot
boxes. You've looked at them.
I've looked at loads of them. I was looking.
But what drew you to only buy that one and not go for the others?
They flagged on Twitter and they are pretty booked. The thing is, a lot of these book subscription boxes are special editions. And we all like pretty things. I try not to buy special edition books because if I'm buying a book, I want to read the book. I'll still buy pretty books. Like, don't get me wrong, but I cover buy.
Yeah, you do.
But if I'm buying a proper special edition, I'd be buying it as decoration, and that doesn't feel right.
Mm.
Now, that being said, I am very tempted to give someone money.
Oops.
To buy me something so I can circumnavigate the challenge, because I saw a book today. There was a special edition, and it was only a tenner, and it was amazing, and it's a book that's on my wish list. I think that was through Rainbow Clay. Ice Planet Barbarians. Me and Noah are going to be buddy reading that soon because I've got the audio on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I picked the audio up on it. So I have heard amazing things about that. So, but you can get it free if you've got Kindle.
I do have it. I don't use it as much as I should, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It can be quite hard to find the audio books you can get for free.
What's
that?
Don't
make it easy.
Book that I wanted that was American, something with the house, with that point of view from the 8-year-old girl.
Oh, I don't know. I sent it you and found it for you.
It's coming to the UK and going to Kindle very soon.
Happy days. Do you know what is on Kindle Unlimited right now? I believe it might not be in the UK.
I don't know.
Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Ooh.
I believe.
No, I like having the hardbacks. I'm excited for my special edition to arrive next year with Jenny's.
I've not read the hardbacks. I just audioed it.
No, they're pretty books.
Yeah, the nonsensical books on Kindle Unlimited. I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Witchy.
You know what? I might have Cursed, actually.
Oh, really?
I'm not looking through my list. Yeah, I might do. I randomly, if something's 99p, I buy it. So,
but you can't buy anything because the book buying ban. I know you've already broke it, but
I mean, yeah, but broke it on a technicality because I bought the wrong book by mistake. Okay, that is fine. I bought the wrong one in error. I'm allowed. I meant to order book 6. I ordered 2 book 4s. You're going to get beaten to death by book 4 if you carry on. So just be aware of this.
I might enjoy it. You don't want to do that.
No comment.
Exactly.
I want to fetch joy to the world.
Ice Planet. See, I keep hearing about this Ice Planet Barbarians, which I've never read. It's wonderful popcorn reads, but they're very much... So here's the thing for you naughty, dirty people in here who also read dirty things. You ever listen to the podcast, My Father Wrote a Porno?
I have not.
It's really funny. It's really funny. Me and G used to sit there with like a glass of wine and we'd listen to it and we'd be like in stitches. It's so funny. It's stereotypical, like kind of posh English people. And he realized that
podcast in the UK.
It was around Christmas, and basically his dad's pen name was Rocky Flintstone, and he realized his dad wrote a porno that's now a series, and he's had Elijah Wood come on and talk about it. They've had loads of actors come in just to talk about what they found really fucking funny, because there's so many spelling mistakes. Like, they go into detail. It's like so fucking funny.
Yeah, he keeps trying to expose me. What
you really should
understand is, I will send this book to someone else if he carries on.
No, it's mine. You've already said it's mine. Can't do that.
I can.
You should definitely listen to the podcast. It's so freaking funny because he's reading it to his 2 friends, and it's literally that like everyone's first take on like the whole series of these books that is now turned into. And it's all their genuine reactions and them like in stitches going, how is it? And he reads it as it's spelt with all the punctuations and everything.
God, is it like when we did that fanfiction reading?
It's pretty much is, and it's so fucking funny.
When are we doing that again?
We need to do it very soon. We need to find something to read.
We're not doing sound effects.
No.
Let's say we. I'm not doing sound effects.
I'm doing sound effects. What do you think I'm going to do?
Okay. We will have to teach you how to do sound effects, Noah, I suspect. Because that's
I don't want to be here anymore.
But, I mean, it's your idea.
Just listen to the first 2 episodes of the podcast. They're not long. They're about 10-15 minutes each time. They're not these huge episodic type of things. Just...
What the problem is here, I'm gonna out something now, actually. So Noah, relatively recently, requested an audio reading of me from Butcher and Blackbird.
Yeah, it was chapter 17. It was absolutely fantastic, and I loved it.
Which is not out in the wild properly. And
no,
it's not going to be. Now, the irony was, I actually didn't send it to Noah. I sent it to his girlfriend Jenny instead by accident.
Which I was very upset about because it was just for me.
For some reason, both the pictures have Noah front and center, but it confused me. Although I could just close the link and block it off, but it's not actually closed the link for that, to be honest.
Ooh,
so
it's all mine.
Yeah, he wanted a full vocal performance.
It was really good. It was actually really hot. I'm not gonna lie.
Not as bad as the Chuck Tingle one though.
We don't talk about Chuck Tingle. We don't talk about Chuck Tingle.
You were so bashful reading that. It was great.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's a fair diversity. Fair. I don't think you're getting old. I think things just kind of get grabbed. It's homosexual. No wait.
Come on, Noah, you can do this. You're sober. I'm not. Come on.
What's the opposite of a homosexual?
Is this a joke or a question?
It's a question.
Heterosexual, Noah.
Heterosexuals, they're so drab.
My God. Unhinged is great. As straight as it can be with a fucking door.
That's a door.
Well, not when it's changed into a person, it's not.
I don't know this. I've never read it.
You should do. It's actually surprisingly fun. It's not good, but it's fun. Do you know what? So, side point. So, the video goes up tomorrow for this one. But I've just done, because I'm on the Read What You Own challenge now. I've done a list of the books I'm most looking forward to reading.
Oh, what are they?
Well, one of them is Feybound. Right, I've actually put it on there. But I was watching, I think it's Willow Reads, who are a UK, they live in Scotland now, but they're a UK booktuber, transgender booktuber.
What are they called? Willow Reads?
I think it's Willow Reads.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Feybound, and their response to it was, this is everything I wanted ACOTAR to be.
Yeah.
It's ACOTAR,
so good.
But gay with world building. Queer with world building, I should say, is how they described it.
Serious. It's so good. It's so good. And I've pre-ordered the second book, and I'm so fucking ready for it.
Yeah, so I'm going to read Feybound. I'm probably going to read Paradise 1 as well relatively soon. That didn't make my top 10 list. Because I've got a load of indies I want to get to. Like, a lot of indies. Because I keep picking them up for free, don't I, on Stuff Your Kindle Day.
You do.
So, which the first one, I've actually read the first one. The video went up just before we came on. I've actually done my first one, which was called, I think it's Shadowstone, I think. That was decent. Unfortunately, it's but one of a series, which is part of a bigger series.
Always the thing, isn't it? You get a book, it's like, this is really good, and then you realise, wow, it's a really big series. Great.
But it's book one. That's the thing. At least I started with book one.
That's true.
I know I bought a book 11 last time round. So I was like,
As you do.
Don't set me off about Sarah J. Maas. Please don't set me off. Is with Cindy the one who did the review that you like by renaming Tamlin repeatedly?
I don't know. She does animations, and she kept calling him Tampon and Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, Books with Bow. Willow Heath or Books with Bow used to be. I think that is that their blog name now. That used to be the channel name, but they changed it. Really good. I'll say if you've not found them, I'll send you the link. They're on my YouTube list. Yeah, it's just so many books. I've strangely put Bookshops and Bone Dust on my list.
I cancelled buying that because I went to buy it and then I stopped.
It was buy one get one half price when I went in Waterstones. I think it was with Jenny when I bought it actually.
You were, yeah. You're supposed to stop me from buying books, but you wormed your way into doing it anyway.
3 days earlier, you told me I could buy a book.
That's different. It was Feybound.
Right. No, it's not different.
It's
Although
different.
It was only £5. But, which really upset you at the time when I sent it.
Yeah, it still upsets me.
Yeah, just like Heads Will Roll for 99p. You're not happy with that one either, right?
I'm actually alright with that one. I really enjoyed that book. I mean, I enjoyed all of them. I don't mind putting my money towards them. Really good.
No, that's fair.
Bye.
ACOTAR. Who's going? Virtues. I'll catch you later, Dee Dee.
Fantastic! Short, fantastic evening.
What? What?
DD, I love DD so much. I need more of DD in my life. Fantastic.
I mean, Corley doing the NetGalley reading sprints, Mondays and Wednesdays in particular, I know she's doing.
Oh.
Part of the reason why I'm not doing any on Wednesdays at the moment, so I can sit in D&D sprints, basically. Do I go off on one about Akatar and how terrible it is now? Favour's an idiot. Or do
let's do it. No, let's no. She's an idiot.
I'm going to ask you something.
Me? Oh no.
You're new to fantasy books. Relatively new. You'll have read fantasy elsewhere over the years. What is it right now that's grabbing you with the fantasy books that you're reading? What is it that's really pulling you in? Because I know you're having a great time with it. Just like Baddies, actually. Baddies actually...
Dragons!
What? No. Right, first of all, no, it's not. It's not. We both know it's not violence that's dragging you into that.
No, I said dragons.
I thought you said violence.
No.
I was gonna say it's not.
I like big lizards, apparently.
I can't think of his name. It's Zaddy that's dragging you into that. Let's be honest. Yes, you do.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
That was the thing. Akatar was fun, but do you know what the problem is I have? I keep seeing how amazing a character writer that Sarah J. Maas is. I have read 3 books so far by Sarah J. Maas. I've yet to find a consistent character.
Sarah
is not consistent. She's
illiterate.
The thing is, even I know I'm actually in the minority here because the sort of stupid baldy riddle at the end.
Can I just want to be stepped on by something big?
No.
It's the horns, right? Dragons have horns too.
I don't have horns. I only have cat ears. I'm sorry.
That's so cute. Play with your ears.
Anyone got any spray? Like, water spray?
No.
Just for nose.
Yes, I just need to be made more moist.
Anyway, my problem is even when she writes a relatively consistent character, relatively consistent,
yeah,
they always do something out of character for plot reasons, and I hate that. It's lazy writing. Now, I have said this before. I do think there's an internal bias on my part here. I don't think I notice it as much in male main protagonists. And I'm aware of that because bizarrely I hold female protagonists to a higher standard than male ones, which I shouldn't.
I know you've read the first one.
I'm not reading the second one.
You need to.
No, I don't.
You do for a sister.
I am genuinely.
She's badass. She's so stubborn. She couldn't be like.
I don't need to read about a female version of me. Okay. I am going to read Assassin's Apprentice? Assassin's Blade, which is the 3rd Throne of Glass book release, but it's a collection of short stories. Oh, so the thing with favourite was the riddle at the end.
Oh, I knew the riddle instantly.
The thing is though, right, when you look at her character work, the riddle was a literary riddle, but she can't read.
No.
So it makes sense for her to not grasp that.
That's true.
But that's fine. I actually quite like that. I still think it's stupid. So many things. I don't like it when we're told how smart someone is.
And they're not.
And then all they do is the opposite all the way through. It's like telling me a window's unbreakable and then throwing a donut at it and it's shattering. That is what Feyre is in book form for me.
She's the donut or the glass?
The glass.
Okay.
We're told how good she is, and then she.
That might be a giant wolf. That could be a fae. But I'm hungry.
Well, the thing is, right? You can make that. That could have been made to work.
Could have been. That's the word there. I enjoyed the book. The first half I hated. The second half I absolutely loved. I fucking loved Amarantha.
Yeah. Well, poorly construed character, but never mind. The issue is that you can tell there's not been research gone into Fae folklore. That's what it is, because the Fae are too human. That's the problem that I have with the book. More than anything else, the Fae are too similar to humanity in it. And again, you can explain that away with good
What do
plotting
you
and good
mean?
So Fae don't age really, or they have a much extended lifespan,
which she says in the book,
which is fine, but they act like humans
because they are.
There's no capricious. They're not. There's no capriciousness there with them. So the idea of Fae in folklore is that they're whimsical. They are, for want of a better word, kind of apathetic because there's a level of arrogance there of better. And you see this about Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
Thalmor.
Yeah.
Their attitude towards everybody else in Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
That is what a Fae is supposed to be in many regards. And
look at Witchy coming in with her argument. I mean, boom.
And I get that point. I do. But they were too close to being human. I mean, there's some things I really liked. I really liked there's a thing for earlier on where they were talking about the weaknesses of the Fae.
Oh yeah, with the ash and the yes. Like, well, I liked that.
That's not true. We just let you think that. Brilliant. That is a brilliant thing. Lean into that. Lean into how much smarter than you these nearly immortal creatures are. Lean into the fact that they can live for so long. What is your lifetime to these? Holly Black does it better. That's the other problem. I read Cruel Prince first. It's better. And I mean, I struggle to call Cruel Prince a romance, to be honest. It's more of a political thing.
Right.
And it frustrates me because ACOTAR has so much potential. It really does. And if you lean it right, so if you're going to say Faye was an idiot throughout, okay. What's the explanation for that? We're not given an explanation. We're never going to get an explanation. She's an idiot because plot. That is the reason, right?
Well, no, not really. She's an idiot because she had to be the person to do things that her sisters could then live their fucking fantasies and shit like that.
The very first scene where she goes, "That's a Fae. If I kill it, bad," and then she kills it
because her stomach had the rumblies.
But that's not. If the legend of the Fae is so high, why would you? It's like going, "Oh yeah, there's a T-Rex. Let's stab it with a toothpick. Nothing bad will happen." Like that is the analogy here. Like genuinely, but it's consistent throughout. Now, you can spin that as under the influence of natural Fae magic. That is your get out of jail free card. And it really is. There's a get out of jail free card there, influenced by Fae magic.
Here we go, look at that. See? They became poor before she got a formal education like her sisters received, and she is the youngest.
She did, but it says in the narrative that she realised that this is probably a Fae, and she knows what the rules are. That's where the problem comes in.
But she doesn't find out the rules till afterwards. She's she kind of had inklings.
No, she references the rules.
No, stab at T-Rex.
Yeah, she references the rules right early on and knows. You can see it in her character. She knows it's the wrong thing to do and it's going to go bad. And whilst I can understand the survival instinct. There's always food in a forest, even in winter.
That's true.
For a skilled huntsman, which she is, allegedly.
Supposedly. There we go.
And that's the thing. She's great, but she can't trap or hunt. She knows this is the wrong thing to do. She does it anyway. This person's abusive. Oh my god, I love him.
He's gonna drive him against me for like 2 seconds and then fucking leave me.
I'll be completely honest. Tamlin is the thing that really put me off the book more than anything else.
Tampon is a dick.
Lucian, I really, really like.
Oh, Lucian is a good boy. He's a good boy.
He's not, but that's fine. Rysand has potential, but that could be because dark, brooding character, and I'm drawn to that archetype anyway. Hunger does make you do nonsensical things.
That's what I said. Her stomach had the rumblies.
But
he is the worst.
There is the big but there of you see the thought process.
This is so weird because you've become out of sync with yourself.
Oh well.
Okay, you're back now. I like to call him Toyota Corolla.
What worries me is I think Tamlin's going to get a redemption arc. I think that's a character who shouldn't get one. From what I've read.
He can't.
That's the expectation.
I still need to finish book 2.
Reese does have a lot, but Reese is a more again, similar problem though with his character. He's too he starts off great.
That's true.
But then he becomes too human in the motivations. And again, you've got the power controlled and the implicit slavery, or whatever you choose to call it. Desperate times, desperate measures. Faye. Yeah, it just frustrates me. Now, it might be because I have preconceptions of what I think the Fae should be, and I have to acknowledge that.
Well, you're really into your fantasy, so there's certain things that you grew up reading where this is how they should be, and that's how most people write them. I think that could be it.
The other thing as well, very, very based in UK folklore as well, which is going to be slightly different depending on where you are in the world.
True.
It's like the term, so I only found this out recently. I think I might have mentioned this to you. The term away with the fairies, do you know what it actually stems from? There is actually a medical condition which it's actually linked to, but we haven't realised it.
Really?
When does autism start to appear? About 4 years old, quite often. Sometimes later, but you start to see behavioural differences at a certain age quite often. The term away with the fairies is now believed nowadays to have been a reference to kids with autism.
Oh.
Obviously, they just didn't know what it was at the time. But it looks like when you look at historical records of kids that were described in that way, like cursed, or they've been on the fairy rings or what, fairy circles or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that suggests that actually this was the explanation used to describe medical conditions that they couldn't explain because science. Which is a curious thing to think about as well. Just on an unrelated side point. I can't remember where I picked that up from. I think I picked it up on a video game podcast, bizarrely. But that was from Jim Sterling. Or Stephanie Sterling. Stephanie Sterling now. Yeah. Sorry, bit of another side point. But yeah,
it's all good.
Akatar frustrates me. The other reason I don't want to read it, though, there is another reason, is that it does link into the Crescent City books.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I believe he's also linked to Throne of Glass.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What do you mean diversity?
Oh, I'm not aware of this, so please tell us more.
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a crossover with the Crescent City books in the last book, and Akatar. There is a crossover there. And there's portal stuff in Throne of Glass to other worlds. So it's a shared universe. I don't want to read all them.
You don't have to.
Right, but there's no point starting a series
Labyrinth.
and then going further in. Never read Labyrinth. Oh.
No, the movie.
Well, now, someone was talking about the book of this recently. I have seen that movie. Makes a change, doesn't it?
Thank you.
Loved it as a kid. I think it used to always be on at Christmas in the UK. I feel like it was a Christmas movie. I feel like Star Wars is a Christmas movie and Die Hard.
I've never watched Die Hard.
Die Hard, Die Easy, take your pick. But apparently the book's very different. Never Ending Story, sorry, not Labyrinth.
I've never seen...
It was one of the others. Someone was talking about it recently. And apparently the book is very different to the film, which has got me curious to read the book.
Okay, we can do that. I've never seen Never Ending, whatever it was called.
What? You get on my ass for not seeing Lion King?
That's different. Lion King's completely different.
It's not.
It is.
You're not. To be fair, you're not an 80s kid, so
exactly.
I can't really.
Exactly.
I'm not an 90s kid, which is why Lion
Doesn't
King
matter. You were still old enough to watch it and still be able to enjoy it.
I think Noah's just said he's not read the Never Ending Story.
I've never seen Never Ending Story. No, I
Dark
love
Crystal. Tell me
you've
seen Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal is one of my favorite top movies.
Have you seen the series?
I have. I really enjoyed it. I was very upset when they cancelled it because I wanted to know. I don't have the game.
You should get the video game. The video game's meant to be quite good.
Really?
Just on a sat. Totally unrelated. I'm not going to watch The Lion King.
One day he will, but not yet.
I'm saying this now. I am going to watch Transformers 1 before I watch The Lion King, because I might go and watch that tomorrow.
So go watch that and then go watch The Lion King. Got it.
Nah. Michael End. Right, okay. I think
I
that
didn't
is the
even
book.
know that was a book.
Yeah, I believe it is very different to the film someone was saying quite recently.
Hmm.
Nope. Apparently, if I write Never Ending, it comes up. If I write the S for story, it does not. Add that to the want to read list. Oh, it's translated?
Wait. What trauma?
Wait.
The book is darker and more fairy tale-ish. Ooh. Why am I gonna be... What's this trauma?
So...
films? I've never seen the films.
Funny story. So I was talking to Book Hermit earlier. I was having a nervous breakdown because all my recording software decided to just do things.
Yeah.
And normally on Voxer, you have to hold your button down to talk.
Oh,
so I took my finger off it. I didn't realize it carried on recording for 5 minutes. So she got the 5 minutes of the original animated Transformers movie soundtrack sent to her, bless her. I don't know if she's replied to that. I think she's probably suffered trauma from that, to be fair.
R-Trax still makes me want to cry. I don't know what this is. What's an R-Trax? Is that the big dragon thing that they ride on? I don't know.
You're going to have to watch it. You know what? That is... When you do movie night, when I return to your book Discord at some point...
Please do it soon. We can do it as soon as you arrive.
That's your movie night. Yeah, I mean... This explains a lot about 80s kids as well, by the way. Like, we grew up on... So He-Man, Masters of the Universe, you've watched that. You did that
we did that as a movie,
I was 4 when I saw that at the cinema.
I had to be traumatized.
I was fucking traumatized by that thing. But because it's all realistic puppet, I mean, you'd have been screwed. But it's all these prosthetics and puppets and stuff. Traumatizing. 80s kids are more traumatized because of TV than any other generation. Ren and Stimpy doesn't count. That's just giggles.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, Return the Staff. That traumatized me. That whole series, cartoon traumatized me.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're the generation of salad fingers, so...
I love rusty spoons.
I'm not thinking Shane when I say that. I'm here for fantasy weird stuff. No, hang on. Let's not word it like that. Folktale weird stuff.
Love Dark Crystal. Dark Crystal is amazing. Crystal. Same. I only saw Dark Crystal for the first time, I think the movie 9 years ago, and I was like, why have I never seen this before? This is amazing.
If you like Dark Crystal, there's a book, what's it called? Shadow Glass by, I think it's Josh Winnig. That is very much inspired by that 80s puppet aesthetic. You may well like that. I really enjoyed that book, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Is that the same author as Heads Will Roll?
Josh Winnig.
Josh Winnig, yeah, it is. Same
it?
author. I think so.
Hey, Milo.
Sure it is. I'm sure it. I'm gonna look just to make sure I'm right, which I think I am.
We will probably end this soon, just because Milo wants to go out and do stuff.
Yeah, I properly thrown you because you managed to ask me 2 questions.
It's fine because we can always come back to this.
Am I? Oh, do we have to?
No, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm sorry.
What next?
What?
Next.
What?
Question. Next.
What?
Next.
What? Oh my god!
Come on. Professional.
Obviously, I know that you're doing the read what you own and stuff. How many books is there that you've got to read? I know you've talked about it in like your video.
I can't tell you the physical book number because I haven't counted.
Fair.
I can tell you my Kindle book number though. I would like you to guess as a percentage how many Kindle books as a percentage
it's going to be
versus not.
Oof. I don't know. It's going to be high that because you've got a lot of books on there. I know that much at least.
So I have 330 books thereabouts on Kindle. So not that bad.
I think you've read like 10% of them.
Okay. You know where near. I have read 25% of the books.
I was close enough. I was only 15% off.
And in my defense, famous last words, a lot of the books on there are either 99p books or they're stuff you Kindle day books.
Mm.
There's a lot of indie books on there. I probably have more indie books than big. In fact, actually interesting because I'm on Book Sirens now.
Yeah.
They finally finished updating my profile, and what's really interesting because they look at your Goodreads and stuff.
Yeah.
And apparently, I do swing towards smaller publishers.
Yeah. What is it called again? Star blah, blah, blah.
Book Sirens.
Siren, sorry.
You got Book Sirens and you got NetGalley. Book Sirens will only initially let you do one at a time until you've started giving the feedback, which I think is better. Yeah, we don't talk about cats because
Why?
Cat's worse than me for Kindle books.
Really?
A lot worse than me. Yeah, you're over 1,000, right?
How? I think I have like 15 books on my Kindle.
I mean, Elaine's latest haul video is 70 books.
But you're gonna forget about them, and eventually, when you go back on, you'll be like, "Whoops!"
Yeah,
I bought them like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've only just joined Book Sirens, so I'm currently reading my first Book Sirens book now and having fun with it. To be fair,
that's good.
I am having, but obviously, it's a case of you kind of got to pick and choose a little bit more initially, at least. So whereas NetGalley, you could just go all the books, and they'll probably say yes, and then you just don't read them. That's why you have this like NetGalley November thing where everyone goes through the NetGalley shelves and tries to clear them all off.
Bless.
So, which is there's loads to read. If you have to read in sprints, there's loads of NetGalley November reading sprints at the moment with multiple hosts and stuff.
Yeah.
So loads of them. 3 shops over 70. I'm sorry, it's still 70. That's still more than me.
Yeah.
Around 1,000. I read 100. Yeah.
Oof. So here's the
I don't
thing.
pay much for books on Kindle because you don't really get any money. So
obviously, after the whole read what your own challenge, like, what is the next step for you in your channel?
You think I know what my next step is for my channel now?
I mean, yeah, I want to know what's going to go from this point then after the PBR challenge and stuff.
I don't know. So at the moment, I'm kind of in a bit of a flux because I'm not sure. It's not necessarily about I'm not sure what I want to do. There's a couple of different things. So it's what I can technically actually do because some of the videos I want to make are going to be quite time intensive. In terms of the editing process and just like for a peek behind the curtain because we do things very differently.
Yeah.
I kind of do it in quite an old-fashioned way, I think, in that I do it almost like TV takes. So I'll do a take and I'll keep doing that bit until I'm happy with it. And then I'll just keep deleting the old versions. So I do so little editing. I just literally throw it all into the editor, throw transitions in, send, gone. Wrap-ups take a bit longer because I've got to find thumbnails and type things up.
Yeah.
So that took me like 4 hours the other day making that one. But I don't know because I've been in 2 minds for a while because reviews don't. I'm a numbers person.
Which you shouldn't be because when you focus on that so much that it really bums you out.
It's not just with stuff like that though. It's a side effect of jobs that I've had and various other things. Statistics interest me.
Yeah.
They just always have. And I enjoy doing book reviews, but they're very time intensive for me because I don't script anything. I don't have notes. And then I do the recording, I faff about with it all, and then it gets 3 views. Doesn't feel like a good use of that time. I could be reading a book. That's where my issue is now. I could be doing something else with my time that I'll get more out of from. So I don't know. It might be a case that I transition to tags and lives and wrap-ups. That's a possibility. I haven't looked. I won't look at releases for 2025 until January when I'm on holiday again for my birthday.
Yeah.
Because that's like my birthday thing. I'll go off and I'll pre-order for the rest of the year what I want.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I keep jokingly saying that I might stop on the child's second birthday, which is in 22 days.
Please
I'm
don't.
not going to.
Good.
I'm probably not going to.
You are doing a live for it. I know that one.
I am. After getting off MJ's live last night where she was testing something out, I did that. A lot of people do edit things, Kat. Not everybody. Noah edits. Noah just talks at the camera for 26 hours.
No, I don't. I have notes.
12 minutes.
And then I go through and then I mess around and see what I like.
Some of those notes are Powley in his books now.
No, I wrote one thing for this book to be given to someone. I didn't lampoon it. It's all a joke. And I'm never going to write another book again. I felt so guilty fucking writing it.
Would you like to know something? When I was a kid, I used to write in books.
I never did.
Specifically, like books about dinosaurs. But I had an upset. It was always non-fiction books, never fiction books.
Hmm.
And actually, I'm more forgiving in non-fiction books. Bizarrely,
that's different though. Exactly, I think that's completely different ball game.
Yeah, I have had such an argument with trying to get memes into my videos for my last one. I gave up in the end and cheated. I don't even have notes.
No, you don't.
I might have. Have I got my book near me? I haven't done a plan for this month. Right, I don't know if I've shown this to a lot of people. I know I've shown it. No one's seen this, but I have.
JJ, what?
I do a plans thing most months. And that is what my plans thing looks like. It's just a mess of stuff. When's that from? That's from September. And I was talking about this actually earlier today on MJ's thing, and it's like this month I haven't done a plan. Actually,
yeah.
But I'll do a plan and then ignore it. So why bother? Oh my god, Jenny.
I know. Shocking.
That's amazing, and I'm impressed. That's nearly as bad as Jaleesa with tabs being open.
I can't get over that. How many think she's at the moment?
She's reading 67 books.
No, let's not forget the 100 or something tabs that she has open as well.
100? She was over 300 last time.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How is things not blowing up for her?
I don't know. I think she's suffering from trauma right now.
I mean, fair. Which I'm with you. I don't have scripts, but I have notes. I have bullet point notes that I have.
What I will tend to do is I will scribble down on a piece of paper names and locations because they don't stick in my head in real life. I forget people's names all the time. Noah has seen me do this. Everybody I work with is called Thumbelina or Tinkerbell for the first 6 months that I work with them because I cannot remember names for the life of me. They just don't stick.
I wasn't.
No, you weren't. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. No,
I'm taking it as a compliment.
Okay.
Thank you. Let me live my fantasy.
I'm thinking for the read what you want time, I'm going to try something different. I don't think I'm going to do any reviews.
Right.
But I'm probably going to do a super short video after every book that I read.
Okay.
So like the first one's going to upstate, it's like 2 minutes long. 3 minutes long, I should say. And I think I'm going to do that. And then if a book really, really, really grabs me, then I might do a review on it.
Yeah.
But reviews don't really get views. Other than the odd one. There's the odd one that'll just go, comparatively for me anyway, boom. Sometimes it's Russian bots, like How to Date Your Neighbor and Win a Wager. That was a Russian bots thing, which I appreciate. But
it messes things up.
It does a little bit, but that's fine. It's not the most watched video on my channel anymore anyway. So that's a bonus. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I want to do, but it's with stuff that's about to start happening, hopefully at work.
Yeah.
There's a time constraint there as well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have the time to do as much. So I'm probably going to stick to hopefully one sprint a week if the rotas fit. Maybe a tag video and then a wrap up. There's loads I've got like a list of videos that I want to talk about stuff. So things like the problem with YA as a marketing thing, because there is a problem there to do with age effective reading. The dangers of book subscriptions is one that I'm really interested in doing.
Yeah, I definitely think you should. I think that'll be really interesting.
I know Sam Harrison did a video. They actually did an interview with a again, it was with one of your Paper Quest people because they were talking about the future of the publishing industry, which was really interesting to watch. And I have a slight worry with books. And Kindle is kind of bizarrely, Amazon's the company that I trust the most with this, which is a weird thing to say because it's Amazon. But Amazon started as a bookshop. That's what people kind of forget. It was a book retailer to begin with. And Bezos is, at his heart, a bookseller more than anything else. I think book boxes are a thin end of a wedge potentially, and I think, and we've seen it in TV and film, with streaming services, and we've seen it in video games, and I think it's going to come to books eventually, where you have the Kindle Unlimited model, but it's linked to the publisher. And there's something there which could be a problem in terms of stifling creativity. Because the way you do that is that you don't allow, say, your Orbit books, just one I can see out the corner of my eye, or Penguin, Random House. You set up a book subscription service so people can get books through a subscription service, and then you don't let anybody else have access to those books as an ebook. And I really hope it doesn't go that way. And the thing is, I think potentially that would be really good for the indie space, right? So there could be bonuses from that. It's not like in other media where you've got all these other problems.
Yeah.
I can see a paid publisher-specific subscription service coming in, and I don't like that. Yeah, the tie to Kindle is a thing, and Amazon is not great with its payout to authors. Like, let's be clear on that. Part of the reason Sanderson didn't put his secret projects on, he's spoken about this, is because he wasn't happy with the cut that smaller authors get. So he's basically leveraged his popularity to try and get them a better deal.
Yeah.
Which is a really interesting thing to do. But it's in an age where everything is touch button, which it is now. Big businesses want to lock you into their own money. And, how do businesses make money with subscriptions? People forget to cancel them.
That's true.
So that's where they make the money. So why wouldn't you? But the drawback there is you then only have the only books they're going to pay for. They're not going to take risks on books anymore. They're not going to take risks on new authors. It becomes a safe bet. We see this, and video games is the closest example of this, where we've seen this with Game Pass on Xbox, PlayStation Plus, Epic Games. There's so many and games themselves now are subscription services. And then you fly into the visual medium space with, do you remember when it was just Netflix?
No, Blockbuster.
That killed Blockbuster. Literally, they tried to buy Blockbuster. Blockbuster went no, so they just put them out of business. Barring one store.
That's true. Where is that? It's in I can't remember where though.
But it's really curious because when you look at, it's repeating the issue that cable TV had, where you ended up fragmenting the content and you had to pay multiple subscriptions to get stuff. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Blockbuster did kill Blockbuster. It didn't move with the times.
That's true. Oh no, they got DVDs eventually.
If I showed my kid a DVD now, they wouldn't know what it is. I had to explain. I had to explain the save icon to my 15-year-old because it's a floppy disk. They didn't know what it was. One sec.
Impressive.
It is depressing, but I'm older than you, so
not
I've seen all
much.
This.
I grew up with the Commodore and stuff like that, and
the
SNES and the NES and stuff.
So excited the other day because I was waiting. I was in a bus station waiting for the bus, obviously. And there was a woman with a cassette player.
Look, yeah, I used to love that fucking
cassette
shit.
player, and it's like, and she was discussing cassettes with this other lady, and it's like, I'm trying to find out where to buy them from. It's like, I like that.
There's a place in Manchester in Affleck's Palace where they have all the retro like cassettes and cassette players and all that sort of shit. Yeah. I've even have the old like cameras and everything. The big trunky things.
Yeah.
I have them there and everything. I've always wanted to go in there and buy stuff, but I see.
Yeah, it's got very frustrating. They buy CDs now and have radio mails. Well, that's the issue, right? Because they fragment everything so much, and it eventually breaks itself. We're beginning to see that with cable TV a bit, because you had like HBO, Paramount Plus, Prime, Now TV here in the UK, which is basically Sky.
Yeah.
What else have you got? Netflix. Prime's the best value because you get other bonuses with it.
Yeah, I've got Prime.
Like, a bizarre thing to say. It's the only one that I keep going all the time. Disney Plus.
I have Disney Plus.
You pull stuff from all these other subscription services. People only have so much money.
That's true.
So eventually and I think it's a HBO Max that has recently stopped. One of them has recently sort of scaled back quite a lot. And they've now started selling the content. Star Trek is a good example. They've started selling the content back to Netflix. Because they're just not making the money. Because people cannot afford 26 subscriptions for TV.
Yeah,
on top of whatever other costs you've got to pay, because you've got to pay for your internet and here in the UK your pointless TV license and whatever else. Well, yeah, that's the other thing actually to do with the editing. The Lilo and Stitch one's quite a famous one. Is that the kid in the oven bit by any chance? I've seen that's been edited and changed. Kid hides in the oven. I think it's been changed to in a fridge or something. I can't remember the details.
What?
But well, this is the other thing with digital ownership as well, and this does link to books. And I was speaking to Greg did a video about this recently. When you buy a book on Kindle, you don't own that book.
My money though?
Doesn't matter. You're buying a license to access a file that can be revoked at any time.
Well, I'm going to put it on my PC so they can fucking can't.
And that's the way and that's fine. That's the way you get around it. But they can update that at any point. Think of video games.
You'll never know, though.
Yeah. So you'll go back to like Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury.
Oh, yes, that whole kerfuffle.
Yeah, the publisher edited the book and didn't tell him, and then eventually took his original book off sale, and he only found out because a friend told him. It's so much easier to do that digital, and you then have it then causes another problem, because you then have the question of historical preservation, especially with, and we were talking about this earlier in education. If you can edit something whenever you want, how do you save it for posterity? As a cultural thing, and culturally everything shifts over time anyway.
Yeah.
And that's, depending on how it's doing it, is healthy and normal, and as you would expect. Like, how do you... Where's the museum piece there if it's always updated? Because it's always the newest version.
Well, there's a place that exists where they have every single thing that's ever been done and shit like that, but I can't remember where that is.
They won't have everything. They won't have everything. That's the thing. There's always a backdoor. A bit conspiracy theory-ish there, but
no, I believe that.
Yeah, and it's I use my PlayStation. My PlayStation is a DVD player. I don't use it for anything else. But yeah, Lost Doctor. Oh, don't get me started on Lost Doctor Who episodes. I paid over £400 digital games, and I don't own a single one. No, Seth, you do not.
Seth,
you own the right to access it. Great example of this on Steam. Transformers games, the War for Cybertron series. Because companies change hands, the license gets lost sometimes, and it's not always clear who owns the license. So it just gets pulled from sale because nobody can agree who has the right to sell it and get the money. That will happen with books. It's not happened yet.
No, but it's heading there. Impressive. It's heading there, though.
And the other thing is, you have the thing with books where you do have the public domain thing, where after so many years, it becomes public ownership.
Yeah.
But even that has exceptions. So, the thing is, if you pull it before that time, it never hits public domain. And I think it's like 100 years. Like, it's not a short amount of time.
I thought it was dropped.
No. There are still some things. It depends on what it is. Don't mention Ubisoft. Don't mention Ubisoft to me. I have thoughts on Ubisoft. I'm not getting into that here. Yeah, well, the best argument for piracy other than not supporting problematic people. If a book comes out, if anything comes out in one country and then they don't release it in another, why? If you can't legally get it in a certain country, pirate it. It's your legal duty to pirate it.
I do not condone pirating on this channel.
Good example of this. I'm going to give you an example of this. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Couldn't get it. They wouldn't release it in Russia for various reasons. So he himself released it onto the Pirate Bay or whatever the site was at the time, and it went mental. It became the most downloaded book, and that got the publisher to release it legally in the country. You know, and the other thing as well is like piracy as a thing, and I don't agree with piracy. I need to make that clear. Particularly, there are certain times where if they're not giving you an option to pay for something, if they're saying no, you just can't have it, but you can get it anywhere else in the world. Japanese JRPGs is a great example of this in video games, right?
Yeah.
If you can't buy it anywhere in your country, but you can get it everywhere else in the world because of where you live, is that fair? No. Pirate the bastard. Play it. And then you'll talk about it. Do you know what that does? It gives press to the game. It's free marketing. They'll never come after you. Now, to be fair, maybe don't do it with Japanese games, because Japanese games, there's some weird things in Japanese law. They don't have fair use laws. So maybe don't do it with them. But
I agree, Seth.
Yeah, you can't pirate what you can't own. What nobody can own. You're pirating access. You're pirating a door. Look at it that way. Can you pirate a door? Can you, Ek? That's perfectly fine then. Piracy isn't inherently a bad thing in small amounts. Is piracy a difference to... Another way to look at it. Is piracy any different to borrowing from a library?
Yeah, it is.
Why?
Giving it back.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because
borrowing means you're giving it back.
But you're still going to get the same word of mouth, right? The author doesn't get any more money. All he gets a tiny amount of money from it going to a library. They don't get money every time it gets taken out.
No, I know. But the library owns it and then they lend it, right? So if you take that away and you don't bring it back.
Yeah, but that's one time, right? How many people do you then tell about that book if you never take it back? You might tell 10 people who then go and buy the book. You lose one, you gain 10. And this is proven, just to be clear, libraries pay for the initial book, right? I will say this. Or they get donated. Word of mouth is the best form of marketing a book can get, or anything can get, because it costs a company nothing.
That's true.
So, you get a library book. The library is paid, probably cost for that book, so probably £5, right? I can't see them paying the published price for books, realistically. Not the way the UK government is. So, you borrow whatever that book is, and you do a video on it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3 people will then go out and buy that book. So, they've got 4 sales from that one book, yeah? Mm-hmm. Just from you. It works the same way. If you talk about a book that you've got through dodgy means, and then
witchy there.
Yeah, and then you talk about that book, you just don't tell people you got it through dodgy means. And ARCs, in a way, ARCs are very similar because you don't pay for ARCs. And then you talk about it, and then people then go out and buy this book that you've spoken about that you got. Who really wins there? It's the person who gets the money. There is obviously a limit to this. There's a saturation point. You know, I'm not saying everyone goes out and pirate stuff. They shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't. But if you don't have the option, so Josh Malerman books here in the UK, nightmare to get hold of. Paul Tremblay books, nightmare to get hold of.
Oh.
But if you then talk about them, someone might go and buy 2 of those £20 paper hardbacks. I only borrow books if I don't really care. I don't lend books out. My books, mine. I have lent books out and not got them back. I don't care.
That's true. No, you do care because you want the book back so you can read it.
Indie books can be hurt with it. Again, it's politics of scale. I'm not saying buying from pirates, just to be clear. I'm not saying that you pay dodgy people money for this.
This is getting way
cinemas is different. But there is a certain point where, at a very low level, because again, using the book that I mentioned before, 25 things, right? Say one of the big booktubers got hold of that book and did one video on it. A big booktuber. How many sales will that one video produce? Just because they got that book for free.
In a minute, Papa.
And again, it's not something that I'm saying to go and do. I'm saying it's not necessarily as big, especially against big business. Big business, I have less issues with piracy against.
I agree with you with what you've just put.
Yeah. There's reasons for both sides. Because let me put this another way, and this was mentioned in a book in something recently, and Noah's going to be horrified by this.
Oh no, I'm going to be horrified that I'm ending this.
What do bookshops do with books they can't sell?
Put them in a warehouse?
No. They tear the front and back covers off and throw them in recycling. They don't donate them. And I'd forgotten about this until someone mentioned it in a video recently. But where I used to work years ago, when the books didn't sell, they would get destroyed. Not donated to libraries, not donated to schools. They just get destroyed.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bye, Elaine.
See you later. Yeah, there you go, Seth.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So first of all, you've wasted a fucking tree, right? You know, those things we need for air. So bear that in mind. And it's not just here in the UK as well, because it was a US YouTuber who was talking about it. Because big business doesn't care, because they can afford it. Because how much did they? They're the ones that make the profit on it, so they made the profit at that point. I think.
I'm traumatized from this whole thing.
Same. You know, birthday cards, Christmas cards.
Yeah.
When I worked at I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get sued, retailer, who is one of the oldest news agents in the world, you did a cards return. Everyone got pulped. They went back to pulp. You put them in bags to be crushed and turned into cardboard. Now you can say recycling, great, but how much goes into making those things in the first place?
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Everything has a...
Yeah, and books is the same. They're a disposable commodity, which makes it weird that ebooks cost so much compared to physical books.
It does.
Sometimes, unless you get better offers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of the ones you want.
Yeah, we do have discount stores here in the UK, but we don't have many for books. The Works is kind of the big one. But again, that's very specific. And if you ever buy a book from the Works, there's always defects on them. You just don't always notice them. There's always a slight thing with them, or it's excess stock.
Yeah.
That's how budget supermarkets get stuff.
Milo, wait, bud.
They buy the excess cheap where they've done too much.
It's a waste.
It is a waste. We are that used to having what we want that we don't care about the waste anymore because we don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Right, I'm going to have to end this because Milo wants to go out.
Yes. And you've asked me 3 questions because
I asked you 4 questions and we just got derailed throughout. But that's okay because you know what? I still enjoyed having a talk with you about stuff and we all learned something. So there we go.
So basically, Faye was an idiot. Piracy is good.
No. No.
Go read Discworld and check out on your indie reads.
Yes, to that one.
It's that last one in particular. Support indie authors.
Yes, support indie authors. Yeah.
That is the challenge I will lay down to everybody, is to read more indies next year if you don't read them already. Because I think you'll be surprised. Because that's where the creativity really is. So, there we go. But thank you for having me.
No, thank you for doing this. It's been fun. I'm traumatized.
Yes. This is me behaving.
Yeah, it is.
So, I could be far, far worse.
I'm amazed you haven't been. But yes, puppy hug for Milo from you.
Yes.
From
I won't come and hug Milo because I'll annoy him. Well, wind him up.
Yeah. Don't you dare. I can't cope with it.
So, I'm going to wander back to everyone should read Discworld. Yes. Where you are here, Diversity, just before we go, what Discworld book would you recommend people to start with? Because I have a few that I recommend, but I'm curious what other people say. So, just out of curiosity. Also, I'm going to do some, if I may, some self-promotion.
Yeah, promote yourself. Go for it.
So, video went up today. That is the first time I read What You Want Challenge reads, which is actually an indie book on a side point, which was a great bit of fun. Enjoyed that quite a bit. Tomorrow I have it's meant to be a top 10 upcoming reads book. It's actually 12, but never mind. Including a book that Noah will never touch. So there we go. And then this month I believe me and Noah are at some point going to be on with Elaine at the back end of the month.
Yep.
And also, for reasons I don't understand, I've been invited on to the amazing Greg at another Bibliophile Reads and Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics live stream, which is on Monday the 18th. Can't remember what time it is. It's like 1 a.m. in the morning here. So I'll be on doing a book chat on that one as well. And I actually I have videos recorded ready to go up this month. I have been good. I have some videos. I'm going to record more after this and more after that. So busy month. And I have sprints. Come see me in sprints. I'm even more controversial in those. Quite often. So I have opinions.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with opinions.
There isn't, as long as we talk about them like normal people.
Yes.
And that is the beauty of BookTube. We can sit down and talk, even if we don't agree.
That's true. Very, very true. And that's what I love about it.
You read Colour of Magic. You read them in order? Okay. I just want Noah to read a Discworld book by the end of the year. Especially as I made him buy one. You read Monstrous Regiment.
You made me buy the wrong one that you recommended.
I got confused. The Witches, I mean, I'll be honest, Weird Sisters is normally my first. Especially if you like Shakespeare, Weird Sisters is a great place to start.
Okay, I can do that.
So, I will lend you mine, but you might get upset at the state of it. But it is a very old book at this point.
I'll just get it on Kindle.
There's one that's on Kindle for 99p right now.
I'll have a look.
I'll have a look in a minute. I might just send you that as well.
Good. Right.
But I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Guards is amazingly first book to read as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like Samuel Vimes. He is, after Death, he is my favourite character. Like him, Death, and Granny Weatherwax. But yeah, there wasn't as many when I started. When did I start? I started with Hogfather. And then I caught up, and then I ended up in order, so I've got a load that are hardback still. Still with dust covers as well, which is impressive for me. So, but yeah.
I do need to end this because I need to sort my dog out and myself out, so thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I believe Noah's next one is actually with his better half.
Yes, I need to sort that out.
Yes, you do. This is your polite prompt to do that.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I was 7 then, so I'm a little bit older than you, but only a little bit.
Yeah,
I know I wasn't even born.
Nope. 1990s. Right.
And he's not grown since then.
I have. Right. I'm going off. Thank you everyone for blah, 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 blah.
Thank you for joining us. We love you all. You're all amazing. Remember that every day, especially going into this amazing weekend, and especially when the world is such a dark place right now. So
that's true. Very, very true. The world sucks.
So
I don't assume. I just know things. Bye. Say bye, Ben.
Bye.
Bye.